Welcome everyone to another live show, the Even Your Dynasty show. I got Dan here joining me.
Yes, sir. We're here. We're live in action. We got the game on. Watching a phenomenal performance, man. Happy to be here.
Eh, Yeah, we had this brilliant idea of like, hey, let's do one where we start up at the tail end of a game, and we got the Angels in town. They've been pretty just terrible for a long time,
Easy win.
and they're getting spanked.
Yeah,
Whose idea was this, man?
uh, I don't know, but I'm not I'm not complaining. We're here. Let's do it.
Yeah,
We're real
well,
fans,
yeah, yeah. Only the fake
man.
fans stick with him all the way to see Taylor Rogers pitching a 7-run game. Uh, but God, all right. Well, we got a lot to unpack. I mean, so aside from the game, we're going to kind of comment on some of the stuff going on in the game. But aside from the game, we do have a lot of action from last week where we got harped on for not being positive and being pretty negative about our content that we were putting out there. And my response to that was, well, they went 1-5. So if they want more positivity out of us, try playing better. And you know what? Last week they went 4-2. So we're gonna have a lot more nice things to say. Now, granted, they put a damper on that by bringing all world Nick Ahmed back up and sending down Casey Schmitt, and Luciano got optioned after he got completed his rehab. But um, they did go 4-2. So I will give them some credit for last week. They played good ball against Texas. Um, Aside from getting just shellacked in one of the games, and overall good ball against Houston. They just had the one game where a couple mistakes kind of beat themselves, but you also score one run, can't really expect to win.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I'll start off with your thoughts on that series, and then we'll get into just kind of a hodgepodge of stuff. And people feel free to comment in there if you have anything you want us to talk about.
Yeah, man. Like you said, I came into this episode tonight. It was like, okay, you know what? We got some positivity in here. We got some. Like you said, went 4-2. We had a couple good games. Some good performances overall that we can, touch on. And then it's a little unfortunate that we're getting demolished by the Angels as we speak. So, like you said, puts a little damper on things. But yeah, like you said, there was a lot of positives that we had, and I think that comment cracked me up. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of good things to take away that we're going to dive into, and you know, like this comment says, it's the Slater and Ahmed show right now. I wish it
Hey
wasn't
Dan,
that.
I thought your comment to me earlier in the chat was like just brilliant. Where
Which one?
if you'd like to, when you said it's when Slater Pilar laid out the double and Slater threw it away to Nick Ahmed, and you're like,
Oh
my
yeah,
favorite player threw the ball away to your favorite player.
yeah, yeah. It's pretty. It's pretty telling. Yeah, and they allowed a run and an error.
Yeah,
It's self-explanatory. That saying "actions speak louder than words." That's a prime example right there.
yeah,
From
and
just waiting
yeah,
around for
as
starting
Mark
pitchers to
said
come off
here.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's the reality. I mean it's what they're doing. I mean they seem to think that they currently have a playoff team, and you know what? If you look at the standings, they're not wrong. I mean, I sent out a tweet about it today. I made a whole video about it earlier. We'll kind of talk about that because I want to get Dan's thoughts on that. But um, you know, this whole club is, and I'm not saying anyone here specifically that's watching it, but there's a thing with the media on Giants fans that they are so accepting of the mediocrity, and they see this team one game under 500, and the only thing they have to say is, well, they're in the third wild card spot. If anybody is proud to make the playoffs when you're under 500, like, there's the door, man. Like, that's such a loser mentality. I'm sorry, and
Yeah.
if it offends you, sorry, not sorry, but it's just this team. And as I've kind of pointed out earlier, like they're in the fourth biggest market, and they're about to be the only team in that market.
Yep.
They're the winningest team or franchise in baseball history as far as just wins goes.
Hmm.
They have the most Hall of Famers. You look at them against the Dodgers head to head. They're winning the head to head matchup against LA. They have more pennants in World Series than LA,
Yep.
and yet like the media here just is like it's kumbaya if the team's around 500. I think they need to be holding them to a higher standard. I think the fans, we as fans should be holding them to a higher standard. Like in a era where it is easier than ever to make the playoffs,
Yeah.
year in and year out. It's just encouraged mediocrity where so many teams just don't go for it. Go be like the Phillies. Load up on stars. Like there's no reason you can't make 90 wins a baseline. And if you win 90 wins every year, you're going to be in the playoffs. Like even the hardest years, like last year in the AL, 88 wins got in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And so it's just, to me, it's not that difficult, guys. Like I'm just so tired when they have the resources they have. There's no excuse to be a 500 team year in and year out. It's just unacceptable, at least in my opinion.
No, and here's the thing. It's like getting a wild card position, that should be something that you settle on as a team. Like you should be striving to win the division and just say, you know what, we're settling for a wild card position. Let's do the best that we can. And it's like, it's weird how it's transformed into this thing where, hey, if we can just get 80, 82 wins, sneak into the playoffs, we'll have a chance. And it's like, dude, we're barely in June. Like we're going on mid-June. How can you have that mindset so early in the season? And I don't want to be negative. It's not a matter of negativity. It's a matter of like, if you're striving for mediocrity, if that's your ceiling and that's what you're striving for, you're setting yourself up for failure from the beginning. And it blows my mind, like to everything that you just pointed out there. It's like you're relying on, Cobb and Ray to come back end of July, beginning of August to save your season when there's a month and a half, 2 months left of it. And it's just, one's coming off Tommy John, one's coming off a hip injury where he's had, like you mentioned before we went live, 12 setbacks. So it's like, are you really going to rely on those two to be your saviors for the season? Like, I don't know, man.
You shouldn't. A winning team doesn't. That's the reality. Like Blake Snell, yes, we should be relying on him. He's an ace. They signed that he won this. He's a reigning Cy Young winner. Like, yes, there's nothing wrong with having an expectation to get more out of Blake Snell than what we've gotten.
For sure.
But you traded for a guy coming off Tommy John and a 36-year-old coming off a hip surgery. And like you can't count on those guys. Like Alex Cobb, frankly, his career is probably over. Or he's going to be a shell of himself, and maybe he's a competitor. Maybe he tries to gut out a couple of years, but the way he keeps talking about his shoulder feeling on fire every couple of days, it's just reminiscent of Rob Nen when he tried to make his comeback.
It's like, how is that not alarming?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But he threw 25 pitches a couple days ago. He's fine.
Yeah. On flat ground.
Yeah, dude's done. But I hope I'm wrong. I do. I like Alex Cobb. I have nothing against the guy, but I don't have faith that he's gonna pull it together and get going. But yeah, I don't know, for those of you that follow Tim Kamikawa's podcast or look at him on The Athletic, or any of his articles, like there's a sudden push for them to go sign Mike Trout. And
fun fact,
frankly,
Kawakami has me blocked. Just wanted to put that in. It's a fun fact.
He blocks everyone, man. I haven't been blocked, and I think it's just because I don't even bother in commenting on any of his stuff. I just stay out. But yeah, he's kind of like Charmin. So yeah, but yeah, the trade for Trout, it makes no sense to me. This team, if you're gonna go make a move for a star and someone that moves the needle, get a guy that's in his 20s.
Yes.
Get a guy in the mid. Get a Bo Bichette who's 26.
Yes, that's what you and I have been saying for months.
Luis Robert Jr. is 26. Hell, did you see Crotchet on the White Sox who they're talking about? He's 24 years old. Yeah. He threw 102 pitches yesterday, and he threw one off speed. And he went 7 innings and gave 1 run. He threw like 70 fastballs, 31 cutters, and 1 changeup.
Straight gas, yeah.
No, it's the Mariners, and their lineup sucks. I mean, they have some guys, but they are not scoring. So, I mean, it is what it is. But, yeah, I mean, the Trout moves makes no sense to me.
Yeah,
he's 32 or 33 now. He's making $30-something million a season.
It would have been cool 4 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, you're trading for the ghost of Mike Trout. Like, that's what you're trading for here. But and he can't stay on the field. Like, if you're going to trade for an injury-prone outfield, go get Luis Robert Jr. Like, that's the guy you go move, because at least there's potential there that if he stays healthy, he's 26.
Exactly.
Mike Trout, you're counting on that guy with.
You've got team control for 3 years.
Exactly, and you have team control over 3 years, and you have the out if he can't get healthy. Exactly. And Trout, you're just stuck on. You're on the hook for it. Like it is. Exactly. It is what it is.
Because I think that goes hand in hand with this right here. Top 10 payroll, but starting fringe bin leaguer with no future every night. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. And that's kind of what you just touched on right there. It's like we went into which tier, the luxury tax, like the second or third tier this offseason. Solaire's not producing, doing much. Chappie's been, solid, but not great. Snell was obviously kind of been a little bit of a disaster, can't stay healthy. Jung-Hoo Lee's out for the season. So it's like there's, they got a large payroll, and we're seeing Nick Ahmed and Austin Slater start on a daily basis. And
yeah, I mean, how many teams is Nick Ahmed a starter on? Honest question. Out of 30 teams in the league.
Well, there's a reason that Arizona DFA'd him.
Yeah.
So
and they could afford him more than the Giants could. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, like their offense and everything around Nick Ahmed is better equipped to handle a zero bat offensive production player.
Yeah, if you're gonna have a Nick Ahmed on your team, you're gonna have him on like a Yankees or a Dodgers team where he's gonna get strikes thrown at him because they're gonna pitch around everybody else in the lineup, and maybe he'll get a lucky hit here or there, and he'll get you his solid defense. So that's more of the team that he belongs on, not on one like ours where it's 8-1 against the Angels. And look who's at bat, my best friend.
We got Slater. Yeah, I'll tune in for the.
Yeah, I'll be chiming in every now and.
Yeah, we got Ramos up, and
hey, Slater. It's okay if he went over 4. He had 3 singles the other night, so he's good for the rest of the season.
Did he double his hit total for the year?
Just about. I think he has 11 on. I think he has 11 on the season, or 15, somewhere around that range.
Oh, so he increased it by almost 50%.
Yeah, exactly. Nice. That's good, man. That's good.
Yeah,
Wise things to be starting every night.
Right here, right there.
Hey,
everybody.
I'll be the first to say it. I despised Wisely after last season. I couldn't stand the dude.
I can confirm.
Ask Cody, man. I was not a fan of the guy, but now I'm all on the Wisely tracks. And he needs to lead off. He needs to start every day.
Yeah, I remember jumping into the chat, and I was always like, okay, I'm gonna brace myself here, and I was like, all right, everybody, don't shoot the messenger, but Brett Wisely is looking really good in Sacramento.
It's true.
Everyone's that dude sucks, and I'm like, I'm just telling you guys. Like,
no, you were the one that told me. You were like, don't be surprised if he's the first one that gets called up, or he's gonna get called up. Mm-hmm. And now he's sticking around, and everyone else got sent down besides Ian Ramos. So I mean, it says a lot.
Yeah, and I mean, I've gone as far to say, like, and I'm gonna go. We're gonna pull this up really quick, but I've gone as far to say that it's not even necessarily shortstop that Wisely needs to play. Like, I'm all for bringing Schmitt or Luciano or whoever back up to play shortstop, but
yeah,
Wisely should be playing second base. Like, he's a better player than Tyro Estrada right now. Like, it's not even debatable.
Absolutely, and that's something that's gonna piss off a lot of people. But Tyro is just rough right now. We got to look up the stats. I think he's like a 250-ish on base percentage this season. It's rough.
Yeah,
it's rough.
Yeah.
What did Ladar say? Look at the next one.
Whether Johnson's not asked Farhan about the players he has signed and what they're getting for what they are paying. I mean, I'd like to think that they notice, especially with Buster Posey being in the ownership group.
Yeah,
I think he'd be the first one to tell them, hey, we're our ROI right now is subpar or suboptimal.
Yeah,
So
yeah, for sure. I mean, I would hope that they're asking him, but I don't know. I don't know, man.
God, Bailey's average is falling off a cliff. But yeah, I mean Tyro. Someone said Tyro's on base percentage is, you know, under 250 now. Is that what you were telling me?
Is that accurate? Do you have that number?
Yeah. I'm pulling it up right now to see what we're looking at here.
Like as of this moment.
Let's see. He's hitting 232, so it must be.
And you know he doesn't walk much at all.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah, Bailey's average is dipping a lot. It was what?
262. Okay, it's not quite under 250. It's not quite that bad.
But still, a 262, that's rough, man.
Yeah,
that's rough.
It's you can't do that.
And and
at everything.
And here's the thing: he's leading the team in RBIs, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he is.
That's just.
I mean,
doesn't say everything.
It's like he's been the healthiest of the team, and
yeah.
I mean, at this rate, in about a month, Elliot Ramos is going to pass him anyway. So, if we're being honest,
dude, but Matos almost passed him in a week.
Yeah, but you know, it's just it's a rough watch. I mean, I watched the Giants fan base like crucify Casey Schmitt for his approach, and he swung at everything, and he chases and yada yada, all these things. And then I watched Tyro Estrada. He does the same crap every at bat of every game. He has zero plate discipline, but he's like a fan favorite. And he like the guy walks on water to a lot of people. And I just don't get it. I'm like the at bat quality for Brett Wisely is significantly better. I'm not even talking results, like just the quality of his at bats is way better than what Tyro gives you at the moment.
Absolutely.
Wisely smoking me. You know what? And they might adjust to it, but he's earning the opportunity to be out there and to prove it one way or the other. I mean that's the reality.
And you can already see how the league's adjusting to Elliot Ramos. It's the same thing. I mean, it's going to happen with these young guys. They're gonna go through this little dry spell for a little bit because the league's adjusting to them. They get adjust right back. And it's how you make that adjustment and how you apply it going forward. Because, I mean, I said it last week. God forbid Ramos goes on a 2-week slump and they Matos him. Same thing for Wisely. It's like, and I think you touched on this. It's like these guys know like they have to hit, or they know they're at fear of getting sent down, and it's a very harsh reality. So it's there you can see just in the at bats lately with Wisely and Ramos that the league's adjusting to them, and just all about how they do it right back. So
and that's exactly it. I mean, that's the story of them. Is that not the story of the major leagues? I mean, that's almost the story of every sport, really. It's a game of adjustments. Like you're going to show up, they're going to have a scouting report on you, especially nowadays. Like these guys have scouting reports on them the second they get to the major leagues.
Oh, for sure.
Like there's no question there. I mean, every minor league game is televised. They're going to talk to their AAA teams. Like they have scouting reports on all these guys, and they're going to get to the league with a scouting report. And if a guy like Elliot Ramos shows up and he's just beating the scouting report, they're all going to figure out, okay, well, we're going to have to pitch him differently. Then they're going to start attacking what he's struggling with. And it's on Ramos to adjust back. And guess what? When he adjusts back, the league's going to adjust back. And it's just a constant cat and mouse game. And it goes until about the time they retire. Like that's when it stops.
No, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
That's baseball.
Off topic, can I just say one thing? Wilmer with runners in scoring position. That's all I'm going to say. Anyways, we can continue. Yeah, it's all about how you adjust, man.
Yeah, 100%. Like that's baseball. So, but here we'll talk about some positives. Like I said earlier, they did go 4-2 last week. Yeah. What did you see there? Was there anything that you liked in particular? That stood out?
Yeah, I mean. One thing that I've noticed that hopefully is gonna be the start of something is I'm seeing a lot more quality at bats out of Jorge Soler. And granted, we spoke on this earlier. His job, he's not being paid $44 million to walk or to single or whatever, but that's a step up from what we've seen with wild swing through strikeouts or ground balls. He's seems like
Yeah.
you know, the vision's getting there, the quality of bats are getting there, and hopefully that's the start of a confidence builder and something to build off of. So it's great to see that. It pains me to say it, but I mean, excluding tonight's game, because we're not going to overreact about tonight's game, it was pretty nice to see Austin Slater actually produce for the first time in a year, and get 3 hits in one game. So that was a joy to see. Plus, if I'm not mistaken, he had that walk off this past week as well, didn't he?
Yeah.
Was it this
Poor
week?
bastard can't catch a break. He doesn't have an extra base set all season. He hits one off the wall, and all he
Yeah,
gets is a single.
dude, it's. I don't want to keep,
The joke lives.
I don't want to keep going in on the guy, but we're 40% through the season. All he has is singles. What are we doing here, man? But you know, whatever. I don't know. So it's there's a lot of positives to take away from that. I think Webb looked phenomenal in his start the other day. He's proven that he's the ace of the team. So
Yeah.
you know, there's a lot of good things to take out of the last week, even though, like you said, there's a couple rough moments, and tonight's definitely one of the lower moments. But there's a couple things with a couple guys that I think you can build off of. I really want to see Conforto turn things around. He's been really, really struggling since he came off the IL.
Yeah.
So you want to see Conforto start to turn things around and get back to that early season form. Like Kevin just said, Flores had a nice little stretch for a little bit. He's kind of cooled off since, but he did have a nice little stretch for a couple games.
I mean, they need him.
Wade's
do. Out. Like they need Wilmer to step up.
La MVP. We need La MVP back. So yeah, I mean, it was nice.
They are missing him pretty bad right now. I gotta say, like they could really use him up near the top of the order, and
they are.
They have their leadoff hitter against lefties. They just need the guy versus righties again.
I think Wisely could be that guy.
Yeah, I'm just kidding, man. Had to crack another Slater joke. That's how you know a game's almost over. The seagulls are circling.
Yeah, I saw that. They know, dude.
The sign, unfortunately. But yeah, I mean, and you know, it's there were good things, and you know, we crack jokes about Austin Slater all the time, and I crack jokes about Nick Ahmed all the time, and you know, some of these kind of mediocre veterans and Flores and all that. But we're truly not rooting against any of these guys. We want to see the Giants win first and foremost. And I'd love for Austin Slater to tell us to shove it and go back to being a guy that has a 900 OPS against lefties. Like, that's his job. They're paying him $4 million to do one thing: hit lefties. That's it. Like, dude. And when you're not doing that, there's a reason why everybody wants you gone, because it's the only thing you're paid for. We don't care about your defense. It is what it is. He's got a little bit of speed. Okay, whatever. But he literally cannot hit righties. He's paid to hit lefties. That's it. Yeah. So.
And here's the thing, and it's weird that we even have to mention it and emphasize on it. You and I are Giants fans. We want to see the team succeed. We would not be grilling these guys and this team and this ownership and this front office if we didn't care. And that's the thing that I think a lot of people kind of get, that they misinterpret that, oh, you guys are just negative. You guys are fake fans. You guys are just haters. No, dude, it's the fact that we've seen this carousel for the last 3 years, more than that. 2021 was a fluke, in all honesty. We've seen this running carousel. We've seen these guys are out of their primes. We've seen what these guys, these Mike Yastrzemskis, these Austin Slaters, these Tyro Stradis, Wilmer Flores, is like, we see where their ceilings are, and we've seen that ceiling, and we know that it's unattainable to reach. We have standards as Giants fans, and I think it's just a built up of frustration where it's like, we are tired of seeing these guys, just based on the pure emotional value that they bring to the organization, because fans got those memories of 2021. They've got these seasons that they're going. Nick Ahmed had one Gold Glove in 2019. Mike Yastrzemski hit 23 home runs in 2021. Austin Slater hit 282 against lefties back in 2022. And it's like, people get so caught up on an emotional aspect towards these guys that they refuse to rip the Band-Aid and come to terms with the fact that we want to see improvement. We've been at 500 ball, excluding 2021. The last 6 years has been 500 ball essentially, and there's still
I'm
no
tired of it.
improvement to the farm system. There's still no superstars on the team. It's pure passion from a fan base perspective and from a true fan's perspective that they just want to see something change for once. And
Yeah.
that's what it comes down to, man. It's just the fact that we're tired of seeing the same old story write itself, and we want
Whew.
something to change. And it's a shame that we gotta come out and say it, because we want to see the Giants win, man.
Yeah.
We love this team for a reason. We're rooting for every single player, but it's hard to not crack a joke about somebody that's got 14 hits on the season. They're all singles. Someone that's batting, that's got an OBP of 260. Someone whose batting average has dipped 70 points in the last 3 weeks. It's hard to not crack jokes to try to find some light when there's very little to be enthusiastic
Absolutely.
about. And there's
100%.
there's my mic drop for the night.
Yeah. No, I mean, Dan hits it on the head, man. It's does anyone here think I would have created this show if I wanted to talk about a crappy ass team, like, and bitch and moan about the Giants all day? Like, I don't want to do that. I want to talk about fun things. I want to talk about how great they are. I want to talk about the Dodgers sit there and they get to talk about every day. They're talking about Shohei Ohtani and Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman and Yamamoto and you name the star on their team, and it's like, you think they're the guys that podcast about their team that are Dodger fans, like, you think they're hating life, getting this, my diamond studded earrings are too tight, my gold shoes don't fit just perfectly, like that's the crap they're complaining about. We're complaining about actual bad baseball right now. And like, we would love to be sitting here and just talking about how great we have it day in and day out. And you know what? If had I created this back in the early 2010s, we would have been spending a lot of time talking about how awesome it is to be a Giants fan back then. And now, we still love this team. We still want to see them win. We still want to see anyone. I root for anybody that puts a jersey on. Like, that's the reality. 100%. Even power hitting catcher Tom Murphy, I'm going to root for when he's out there. But doesn't mean I want him out there. It doesn't mean I don't want someone else. It doesn't mean I don't want Luis Matos playing over Austin Slater, or literally pick a kid off the farm playing over Nick Ahmed, because there's like 4 of them that could play shortstop right now that I'd rather watch than Nick Ahmed. I mean, it's just like, that's where we are, unfortunately, as Giants fans. And we just want this team to be held to a higher standard. That's it. That's what we're begging for. It's just go actually attempt to win year in and year out, and like actually try and win. Not this, hey, how can we try and be competitive, sort of hang around for a third wild card spot? Like, how can we do that? No, we want to go into the year. You remember how the Red Sox and Yankees in like the early 2000s, mid 2000s, it's like every year it was like they knew one of them was going to make the playoffs or win the division, and the other was going to win the wild card. Exactly. Like you said, you should be settling for a wild card. You should go in there. The Giants should be putting together a team where every year they come in and they're thinking, we're going to try and dethrone the Dodgers, and worst case, we're going to be the wild card team, like 90 something wins. Like, that's the mindset this team should have every year.
Yeah. And I think that's where a lot of the frustration comes into, because it's like you see the super team that LA's built, and it's almost as if the front office is settling. Like, all right, they spent $1 billion. Let's spend $200 million and let's build a decent team on paper, and then just go and see what happens. And it's like, that's great. You guys spent the second or third most in free agency this last offseason. Where's the results from it? Yeah. And that's where a lot of the frustration stems from.
And what does it do for you long term?
Exactly.
Like, how does it impact your long term success?
Because outside of this season, all the big names, excluding Soler and Murphy, I won't even.
And Lee. Yeah, Lee, I guess.
And Lee, but I mean, like, you're looking at the Snells, the Chapmans, and whatnot.
Yeah.
They could opt out after this year. And then you got multiple handfuls of guys whose contracts are expiring or you have a team option for them. And you've got the 17th ranked farm system. So where is your long-term goal? And I think with us as fans, we're wondering the same thing. Like, okay, that's great that you guys invested a lot of capital for the season, and unfortunately, results haven't been there thus far. But what's the long-term vision? And that's where some of the big questions are. Who's the shortstop of the future?
Yeah.
Who's the second baseman of the future? Tyrone? Maybe Arias in 3-4 years? Who's the first baseman of the future? Flade? And then Hope and Eldridge in 3 years? Who's the third baseman of the future? Chappie?
But don't worry, we're gonna hold Eldridge in San Jose for an entire season.
Yeah. And then hold him in Eugene for a whole season next year.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay.
But then we'll rush him through AA, AAA, and into the majors the following year, and then we'll complain that he isn't ready when he has like 200 at-bats against upper levels.
Yeah, and see, that's where a lot of the frustration is, and where a lot of the confusion is, just about the state of the franchise in the sense of direction or lack of, should I say. Yeah. And so it's like, Greg Johnson, if you're listening, hire your boys. We can turn this team around. You're about 20 seconds ahead of me. Let's see what happens. I'm watching Conforto. It's a
E4.
Okay, let's see the ground ball.
I don't know if they're actually going to roll it. I don't know if they're going to roll it that, but it should be.
Oh, no, I'm way behind. I just barely saw Conforto ground out. Donnie Walton over Ahmed.
You are way back.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Donnie Walton's the man. Farhan killed the culture. No set lineup. Yo-yoing players. No wonder no free agents want to come here. No, that's the honest truth, man. And I'm tired of people saying, "Well, 2021 was such a good year." That's cool, man. Oh, I did see the E4.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't realize how far behind you were.
I'll
put the 30-second thing up next time. I'm going to celebrate.
Yeah. Perfect. No, you nailed it, Mark. It's that's the thing. It's like, the players are just like, they don't see much stability in front office. They don't see much sense of direction. I think Bomel's enticing, as well as Burrell and Price. I think they're enticing to be coached under. But when you're looking at the front office in general, it's just like, what are they doing over there? And I think that's where a lot of the frustration for us with Farhan comes down to, because it's like he talks a big game but doesn't back it up. And I think that, at least for me personally, that's where a lot of my my displeasure with him comes from.
How many comments has he made that are just like little sound bites that come out that, we won't be outbid. We're going to get younger and more athletic. We're going to, you just pick it. Yeah, I mean, there's one, it seems like, every year. And he just never backs up what he says. I mean, there's a reason why we call him a used car salesman.
I was going to say, he'd make a great politician.
Yeah, he would. He's always got a backup career, and it's just, I mean, the no set lineup. I mean, this whole thing, complete 100% agree with you, Mark. I mean, I got into a debate with someone earlier, like, that was talking about the value that Austin Slater has and things like that. I'm like, yeah, I'm not saying the guy is without any value. I'm saying that, like, I want to see Luis Matos play every day, because I want to see them actually prioritize developing everyday players, like young, exciting, everyday players that have potential to, whether it's be a star or even just be a productive player. If Luis Matos turns into I'm going to use WAR as the statistic here. If he turns into like a 3-WAR player at 23 years old, like, I think any of us will be thrilled with that level of production, whatever that ends up looking like. Like, we want guys like that, because there's a trickle down effect with that. He's in the lineup every day, lefty or righty. You have more lineup stability. And then it also allows for more roster flexibility. When you don't have guys that are pigeonholed into one role, like Austin Slater, and you actually have guys starting that can play every day, like, the flexibility you have with your 26 man is just infinitely greater.
No, for sure.
And that's the struggle with Soler. I mean, I wasn't opposed to it. Like, I've if I tried to sit here and lie and say I was totally against Jorge Soler, yeah, people could dig up like 3 different videos where I definitely said, they needed the power production, they needed something. But the one comment I did make about it is he's a DH only, and that killed your flexibility. They could have had Luciano up right now and played him occasionally at short or second or whatever, and then DH'd him other days, and then DH'd Conforto certain days. It would have been easier to have Matos up because they could have rotated Conforto through the DH spot. That's the risk when you get guys like that. It just crushes your roster flexibility.
No, you nailed it. And it goes back into what is the sense of direction? What is the long-term vision for the team? And I think that all kind of goes hand in hand with what you just said. It's like what position do they envision Luciano playing long-term? They've had him in the system for 4, 5, 6 years. It's like
I think they would have moved him.
You'd think they'd know where he's going to play. I don't know. It's I think I touched on it last week where I said I think the whole Correa, incident kind of derailed his plans for everything. But
who is hitting 300 now?
Yeah, I saw that
with like an 840 OPS.
I think he had like a 5-hit game the other day.
Yeah, I mean, he played the Rockies. I mean. So I saw some jokes on Twitter earlier where they were like, "Did somebody bring the trash cans into Target Field?" Because Correa got so hot. Everyone's gonna start analyzing the tape, listening for the during every at bat.
I just saw Yastrzemski's hit off the wall. By the way,
I smirked a little and I was like, I'm not even going to say anything.
I saw it. I knew something was going to happen. I was all right, something's coming up.
Hey, you know what? Elliot Ramos is up, 2 runners on. Could have some action here, folks.
Let's see.
I mean, he'll probably strike out, but
we'll get a live reaction, except there'll be a 30-second delay between us.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. There won't be a delay if he goes off. You're going
to I'll be fine with it. How sweet would it be to just see him, just smack one 420 feet to the left? That'd be great.
Yeah, I think everyone in this chat would love to see that. Unless there's some like random Angels fan chilling out in here. In which case, take your rally monkey and get the hell out of here.
I didn't even know Angels fans existed. I thought that was a myth. I thought they all went to the Dodgers.
Yeah, they all put on their blue after Shohei bailed.
There's
the Trout's gone, there really will be none of them.
Oh, yeah. But let me ask you a off-topic question, because I know you and I have talked about it privately for the last few days. What kind of trade proposal would you offer Toronto for Bo Bichette, hypothetically?
All right, so where I'm going to come from here, it's kind of, I touched on it a tiny bit on my video today. And I know a lot of people are going to think this is just way too much, but frankly, this is the going rate. Like, I always have a saying, my dad, I think he's watching right now, he always used to say, like, you have to give up something to get something. And I actually expand on that, where it's not just that you have to give up something to get something, it's that if you don't feel like it hurts you a little bit, like when you're trying to get a star, a guy like Bo Bichette, and I mean, yes, we all know what his numbers are right now. And I've said it, that his peripheral numbers are a lot better. They indicate that he's been, a bit unlucky, that, whatever. If you want to look at like expected average, on base, slugging, all the stuff, he's been like definitively unlucky. Yeah. Now that said, he's still a line drive guy. He still hits it to all fields. He's still just, I do think he's a star. I mean, he's had the most hits in the league, like 2 of the last 3 years. I don't know what his exact lifetime batting average is. He's a 290, 300 hitter or something like that.
It was 299 coming into this season.
Okay. So it's probably like 292 because he's off to a rough start. But, he's
Something happened.
Vamos.
Something happened. Hang on. I just saw highlights of Austin Slater hitting a
We
double.
have life. We have life.
I saw a swing and miss from Elliot Ramos. Hang on.
He's gonna have struck out. Spoils.
I see.
Spoiler.
Ronzi Contreras. Okay, let's see. Hang on. Deep center field. Out of here. Oh, that was a good home run call. Thank you.
Hey, remember when you remember when everybody, the thing that came out was that their big issue with him was that he didn't have the pull power. Like all his home runs were going to center field and right field.
That was 422
Who cares?
feet.
You hit it 420 feet. It's going out wherever you go.
Oh, hey, we kind of called that.
Hey, we have life, everybody. You know, if I'm telling you, if they come back from 8-1 while we're on this live show, we're gonna be doing this every night.
We're the lucky charms, man. Yeah, we're the lucky charms.
Every time they're trailing big time, we're gonna just dive in.
Dude, that was a bomb too.
3 more RBIs.
Oh, Bailey got a bunt single. He's trying to avoid going under 270 batting average.
Can Chapman go? Can we get Chappie?
Chappie? Dude, that was a bomb. I'm sorry, man. The Elliot Ramos, he deserves some All-Star game votes.
You know what? And I've said he might be the leader in WAR right now of outfielders in the NL. Like if he puts together another month. Yeah, if he puts together another month, and today I'd like to point out he's 2 for 3 with 2 walks, a homer, and 3 RBIs. But hey, you know, somebody told us they could smell the Elliot Ramos downfall for free ball. It's like over his last 8 or something. It's like, oh, God forbid a young guy struggle.
Yeah, I was like, it was this first at bat. How did he get out? I forgot. It was a ground out or something.
No, he walked and then he struck out. He had
it was after the strikeout. Yeah, someone came into the Bleacher Report community and was like, oh, I can smell the Ramos downfall coming from here. The league adjusted to him, blah, 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 blah. It's like, what do you think of that, man? It's insane.
People have zero patience. It cracks me up.
Literally.
And you know what? You know, Farhan's one of those guys. But, you know, hey, here we are. But yeah. Okay, so we're gonna circle back now. That sorry, we got a little sidetracked there by some life from the Giants.
This is what happens when you go live during a live game. Okay.
Hey, you know, we wanted to.
If we're gonna be interrupted by anything, I would rather be interrupted by that. So that's all I'm gonna say.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and start talking about Bo Bichette.
Go back to Bo Bichette.
Yeah.
So the proposal. What would you offer for Bo Bichette?
Yeah. So what I was gonna say is it's gonna have to hurt. Like that's the reality. Yeah, Rob is gonna fight that dude. Here's the reality. The going rate for a guy like Bo Bichette is probably 2 top 100 prospects.
Okay.
And where that leaves me is you are probably going to have to offer something along the lines of Marco Luciano and Carson Whisenhunt, which is going to hurt. I understand, everybody. Like, it's a lot. It is what it is. But here's the reality. The Giants' strength of their system. Actually, I would argue the biggest weakness in their system is probably shortstop. And I think you're 100%. Exactly on the same page with me on that.
Yeah, I mentioned that earlier today.
Yeah. And here's the thing. Like, you look around their roster, there's a lot of potential with the outfielders. You have, you already have Ramos up, who looks like a stud. You have Matos, who's like kind of ping-ponging at the moment. He looks like he's on the fringe of a breakout, like right on the cusp of a breakout. And then beyond that, you have Hunter Bishop, who's been rocking it in AAA right now. You have Grant McRae, who just came up to Sacramento this week. He just hit one like 440 feet yesterday. He has potential. You have Jung-Hoo Lee already that's expected back next season. So I understand if you don't want to go all out at like a Luis Robert Jr. because you feel confident that you're going to develop, assuming you have Lee and Ramos, you feel confident in developing one of those guys. And that doesn't mean you don't still throw the bag at Juan Soto or whoever. And if they happen to take it, but they're probably not going to. But you feel confident in those guys. And then you look at the pitching. You have Webb. You have, Harrison's already up. You have, you have Hayden Birdsong, who is one of my favorite arms. It's just got called up to Sacramento. Mason Black struggled recently, but you also have Landon Roop, who they're trying to stretch out as a starter. They have just so much starting pitching already. So if there's anywhere you can afford to trade from, it's going to be your starters or your starting pitching. So I'm okay with losing Wisenhunt as much as it pains me. And it's, the nice thing with Wisenhunt, the one thing that was a positive is I saw he threw 90 pitches yesterday. I about fell out of my chair. I'm like, Farhan's going to fire someone down in AAA for letting him throw that many pitches. But, he threw 90 yesterday, which was a good sign. So, yeah, I like Wisenhunt. I'd almost rather trade Harrison because I actually like Wisenhunt's secondary pitches, and I think he's going to have more pitches to get people out with.
Yeah.
But Harrison's in the majors, and he's proving it in the majors. And I think Harrison has probably a higher ceiling once he figures out another pitch. Maybe gets a sharper slider, whatever it is. So I would trade Wisenhunt. And then Luciano, this team has had him for 6 years, and they still don't know where the hell to play him. Do I have any faith in them to figure out what to do with Marco Luciano? Absolutely not. So I'm at the point of either get him in the lineup every day in some capacity or trade him before he loses his value.
And I think that's the harsh reality of where we're at this point. So, and like you said, if it doesn't hurt, you didn't give up enough. It's going to hurt to give up Wisenhunt, but that's how you know you gave up enough and that it's a competitive offer for the rest of the league. So, because, I mean, you see what the Padres gave up for Luis Arias.
Yeah.
So I totally agree. I've been saying, you and I have been talking privately other than with the fellows. It's like, me personally, I would do that same package, Luciano and Wisenhunt. And just because I don't like the guy, throw in Wade Meckler as well.
You know what?
Enticing offer.
And I've always it's hard not to root for a guy that's like a total grinder mentality. The way he, walked on at Oregon State and all the things he did. I can't stand watching him in the outfield. And if he could just turn into a competent defender, he could be a really good bench player, reserve outfielder. If he was your fourth or fifth outfielder and you're like, dude, we can bring this guy in to try and steal a base. We can bring this guy in to pinch hit. If he can figure out how to track a ball and take a non-squiggly route to a ball, we could put him in late in games because he has good range. His arm's not god awful or anything like that. He has good range. He's not going to be a starter. And I get everyone saw he's hit 370 in the minors or some ungodly number, but he doesn't have enough pop in his bat that he's going to stick in a corner, and he's very clearly not a center fielder. So it's he could be a super valuable bench player if he could just figure out how to catch a ball, get some contacts, bro.
Dude, he
figure it out.
His routes in center field is like he's drunk.
He wouldn't. He'd get arrested.
Have you ever worn drunk goggles? Have you ever just messed with one of those?
Is that what his glasses are?
Dude, it must be. When I was going through training with the PD, they had us wear drunk goggles just to experience it, and you're just like, whoa, that's exactly how it just looks like with him. So yeah, he saw the optometrist and they gave him the drunk goggle glasses.
It's just brutal, man. But yeah, no, I mean, if that was what got it over the hump, whatever.
But here's my thing: that getting rid of Meckler and the deal like that would also free up a 40-man roster spot in which he shouldn't even have. He's had it since last year. I don't know why. So it would free up that spot, and then that'll allow you to retain Hunter Bishop, give him that 40-man spot.
Yeah,
because he can be swiped after the season, like you and I talked about earlier.
Yeah, and, that's why I think McRae is up right now as well. I think the Giants are 100% figuring out the McRae move and Bishop getting up. I think it's 100% they know that after the season, those guys are going to get, they can get swiped. If they don't add them to the 40-man, they can get swiped in the Rule 5 draft. Mm-hmm. So, and I would hate to, and there's all the personal reasons I root for Hunter Bishop, all the stuff he's dealt with
Yeah, same.
in his life, but like it's impossible not to root for the person. But even more so, like, there's a reason he got drafted 10th overall. And, like, I get it. Not every draft pick pans out. But the guy has so much talent. Like, he has so much talent.
He's got
And
a solid 4 tools for sure.
yeah, for sure 4. And I think that 5th tool, I think he could turn into, like, a 4.5 tool player. Like, I think the hit tool, it's the biggest question mark. But you see him, and he has just lightning fast bat speed and lightning fast hands. He has a very flat swing through the zone. He's kind of more old school where he, like, when his power, it's like he backspins one out.
Yeah.
And it just, like, I do think that he still has a potential. And I get it. He's like turning 26 or whatever now. But guys like Josh Hamilton couldn't get off the cocaine until he was in his like 28, or couldn't get off drugs or whatever it was, or alcohol, until he was like 28, and he ended up being a star in his late 20s, early 30s. Like, these guys can be late developers. It happens. Like, you just don't know. And I think he's a guy that, maybe we might look at him right now and go, there's not a spot for him, and there's not a, there, he at best he's going to be a 4th outfielder. Well, we just don't know that. Like, some guy, you never know when a guy's going to get their opportunity. And when they get that opportunity, you never know when a guy's just going to take it and run with it. Did anybody have Elliot Ramos as the best Giants position player on their bingo card this season?
No.
I mean, the guy had been buried by Farhan, and he gets an opportunity because, I mean, the freaking Farhan Zaidi decided he wanted to play AJ Pollock. He wanted to play Jock Peterson in the outfield. He wanted to play Wade freaking Meckler. He wanted to play all these guys over giving Elliot Ramos an actual look. Like, just let that one sink in. Yeah. Like, it's just, he was looked on so poorly. He was one of the first guys out, and all he did was go out and bust his butt in AAA this season, get himself position himself to get a shot, and he's just taken it and basically looked at Farhan and said, the hell you're taking this from me. Like, this job is mine. And you never know. I mean, if Bishop just gets an opportunity, I mean, did he deserve to get pulled up to Sacramento this season? Probably not. But since he's been there, all he's done is rake. Yeah. I mean, it's like I said, sometimes you just, when you get the chance, if you run with it, you can keep it. Like, just never know. And he clearly has the tools.
No, yeah, he does. And I think it just comes down to, when you're given an opportunity, you just got to run with it, man. And we're seeing Ramos do that. And it's a damn shame that it took a injury.
They put us in the Bleacher Report.
Yeah, I know. I saw.
I'm dying.
I saw.
Fake fans for life, man.
Fake fans for life. I'm watching Wilmer take these half swings right now, and I don't know what he's doing.
Well, as long as Gabe Morales isn't on umpiring first base, we're fine. Wait. Oh God, you're behind.
That's not gone, is it? No.
Warning track power.
Warning track power.
Yeah, I mean, Mark,
yeah, we've been saying that for years.
Yeah, I don't think Farhan's going to look a gift horse in the mouth, so to speak. When he gets a Logan Webb, or he gets, when a guy comes out and just flat out takes a job and wins it, and in Luis Matos's case, to an extent, like when he plays Farhan's game and he works counts and he displays control of the strike zone and starts drawing walks and stuff, like, I don't think Farhan's going to be like, nah, I didn't sign him, but it's very clear who gets the first shots.
Yeah.
And who gets favored in all these cases and all of that. So yes, 100%. We've been saying it. There's a reason why, let's be honest. There's a reason why Joey Bart was able to hit 400 or 450 or whatever in spring training and be their best catcher in spring training. And they, yes, I get it. They paid Tom Murphy $8 million or whatever it is for his contract, but
It's
they paid Zach Cozart $9 million to never put on a Giants uniform. So there's a
insane.
reason why Joey Bart got for a bag of peanuts.
Yeah, and I think you touched on it as well. The fact that he gave Meckler an opportunity before Ramos.
Yeah.
Hand in hand right there. Um, Soler popped out. Nice, lovely, love that.
It's all right, guys. Ramos is only due up like 7th this inning. So if we want anything to happen, this lineup's so bad. I'm sorry. I think Conforto gets going. I do. I think Chapman gets going. I think Soler gets going at some point. Like these guys are going to get hot at some point, but God, it's just a bunch
It's
of punch and beauty hitters.
Yeah, it's the dog days of summer, my friend.
And it's June.
Summer starts in a couple weeks, so it's right on.
Well, we got the June swoon. What's July? Is July and August? No, August is the dog week.
I was gonna say it's the July I want to die.
Yeah. Oh God, that's gonna be what it's gonna be this season. I swear. Just okay.
Oh my
All right.
gosh.
Well, all right. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and say this about the Angels series. It's the freaking Angels. There's no reason that you shouldn't win 2 games and then win this series when you're playing the Angels at home.
Yeah.
And that doesn't change when you lose the first game. There's still no reason you shouldn't win 2 out of 3. So you dug yourself a hole. Time to win the next 2.
Inexcusable if you don't win the series.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ew, Conforto, what are you doing, bro?
He's just getting that Louisiana fastball, man.
The closer did the Hayukin. You see that? That's cool.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're celebrating like their 14th win of the season, so good for them.
Yeah, you're right.
And of course, it's against us. Not shocked. I will say this: Ron Washington has them playing hard baseball for a team that lost basically everybody, and Trout's hurt for the billionth time, and Anthony Rendon doesn't give a crap about baseball. And
their best player is Kevin Pillar.
Yeah, and this ain't even the same. Like it's Kevin Pillar had a good year for the Giants. Like
he did
6 years ago,
yeah.
And now he's over in Los Angeles. I guess Dontrell Willis was talking about like he's probably calling it a career after this season, but now he's hitting like 400. And they're like,
he's like 35 years old, dude.
Yeah. He's like, you sure about that? So, yeah, I mean, it's tough. It's like I get it. Ron Washington has them playing good ball, and you know what? I saw the Angels do something that would have broken Farhan's computer and his spreadsheets, and it literally would have just caught fire. And that's they dropped a bunt down, and then immediately got a base hit to score both those guys. I know, small ball, right?
That's wizardry, bro. Yeah, that's unheard of.
What is this sorcery? So, yeah, I mean, I can't help but feel that if Ron Washington was running the Giants this season, they'd be scoring more runs. Now, I'm not saying he's a better manager than Bob Melvin, but Ron Washington is going to scratch and claw and do everything he can to try to scratch runs across the board with the talent he has. So
I feel like it's this might be a conspiracy, but I feel like Farhan has his little dirty fingers in too many aspects of the team, including the lineup and including some of these, decisions. I don't know. I feel like Bomel doesn't have full managerial authority. Maybe that's just me. Maybe that's just a wild conspiracy. But the way that Bomel's been managing the team this year is a little bit different than the last 18 years he's done. So
yeah, I and when I watch Melvin, I wonder if like at some point, like I watched what he did with the A's. Like I've watched what he's done with other teams. I've watched him flat out be like, dude, we got to play the kids. Like this is what's going to give us our chance.
Yeah.
And maybe he's finally at a point where he's like, I'm 62 years old. I don't know how many more years I'm going to do this. And I just want to try and go all in on this season and next season and next season. Like, I'm just going to try and go all in every year. And he's buying into the whole, like, I got to play the vets because they give me the best chance to win the game today. And even though, maybe Luis Matos doesn't give you the best chance to win the game today, but he'll probably give you the best chance to win the game in August through September. Like, if you just played him every day.
I think I think Farhan has a shot collar on Bob Melvin, and every time Bob Melvin wants to do something he doesn't like, zaps him.
Yeah. You remember Altuve when he was like holding his shirt down? Bob Melvin's got one stuck under there, and he's just like from the press
Exactly. He gets zapped.
Oh God, I just yeah.
Why hasn't Casali been playing? That's a good question. I don't know.
Oh yeah, and Casali's probably going to get sent down to Sacramento as soon as
I think. As soon as Murphy comes back, yeah. I think Casali calls a better game than Bailey. Call me crazy. I think he goes a better game than Bailey.
I think he's more experienced. I mean, Bailey has the faith in the team and the pitching staff just because he'll frame well and he does control the running game to the best that they can really hope for. The Giants kind of have a ton of guys that are like abnormally slow to the plate, and it kind of drives me nuts because as much as I'm hard on Bailey on certain things, like there are a lot where he just doesn't even have a chance because the guys are getting just enormous jumps off the pitchers. So I mean, It is what it is, but I do think Casali, like, he knows how to handle a pitching staff. And this is why I am so adamantly against bringing Tom Murphy back over Curt Casali. And I was talking to my dad about this earlier today. It was funny. I'm like, when you're a zero defense player and your only value you bring to a team is when you're hitting and you're a backup catcher, and then you don't hit, you literally bring zero value. Completely. And guys get cold. Like, that's part of baseball. Like, guys are going to get cold. They're going to go through rough spells. And when he gets cold, he doesn't provide value. Most guys that are like Curt Casali, that are just dependable, solid gloves, they don't forget how to catch and call games and handle a pitching staff. Like, that doesn't happen. You know what you're going to get out of them, and they're going to give it to you every year. And yeah, we know he's going to hit a $170. And we don't care because they're going to still find a way to go, like, if he started 40 games, they're going to find a way to win 30 of them. Like, that's what happens under them, or 25 and 15 or something. Like, they're going to win more games than they lose when he catches in the small sample sizes. So that's why I'm so against a guy like Tom Murphy. Like, I don't care about his bat. It does nothing for me.
But remember, McCovey Chronicles said that he's been one of the best hitting catchers over the last 5 years, guys.
I hate when they compare guys in small sample sizes. Nothing pisses me off more when they try and throw a guy with like 200 plate appearances in, and it's on a list with a bunch of guys with like 800 plate appearances. And they're like, this guy's one of the 18th best. And I'm like, no, it's not how that works.
Yeah, dude, it's just he's got power, though. He's a powerful catcher.
And Melvin is the reason Kim played every day. Yeah, Melvin flat out came out and said when they brought him in, and specifically, he's the reason that he played every day at shortstop, because he showed up and they had signed Bogarts and all those guys, and he went, no, he's my best shortstop. He's playing shortstop. We're moving Bogarts to second base. Like, Melvin has say, but something's going on where whether it's a shot caller or he's just looking at it as, I need to try and win every single game. I don't understand. But on the flip side, like, here's the reality. As much as we think Bob Melvin has say on who plays that's on the roster, Farhan Zaidi controls who's on the active roster.
Yep.
And Bob Melvin can only play from the guys that are on the active roster. And, I'm going to be hypercritical of Bob Melvin for playing Nick Ahmed over Brett Wisely with how they're playing right now. But I can't sit here and blame Bob Melvin for not playing Luis Matos. Luis Matos is in Reno currently playing for the River Cats. Well, because they're playing the Reno Aces. So it's like he doesn't have control over that. So I can't get on Melvin on that one. It sucks. I wish he would just look Farhan and be like, dude, figure it out. He needs to be playing. But we don't know what's been said behind closed doors. So maybe he has. And maybe Farhan's been making comments. And Farhan, he did this with Ramos. It pissed me off. And now he's doing it with Matos, where he's like, we're trying to figure out a way to get him back up here. Dude, there is a way. You designate Austin Slater for freaking assignment. It's not hard.
That's like disowning his son. He can't do that.
It's right there, dude. It's on a tee for you. So
it's like giving up his pet for adoption.
Yeah, this makes me think of the OG Jumanji with Robin Williams. What year is it?
That gift we've been sending
every time, man. Oh, this guy did this in 2016. What year is it?
Oh my gosh!
It's just God. If I could put GIFs up on this thing all day long, dude, I gotta figure out how to load that. If I can figure out a way to get sound effects and GIFs to pop up on this during our streams, oh man, it's over.
Yeah, like we
people think we're not humorous. Trust me, it'll get worse.
Like we said with the dial-up noise.
Yes. Yeah, let me know, people. If anyone knows StreamYard how to get the noises on there. I have two noises that I want to get added on. I want to get the dial-up tone, so that way when we talk about Farhan Saidi and his like brain short-circuiting from his computer, we can start playing the dial-up tone. And the other one is going to be the Benny Hill music.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I can't wait for that. That'll be great. That'll be great.
So, yeah, that'll be a funny one. Well, do you have anything else? Do the people have anything else they want us to touch on before we bail out of here? Unfortunately, the Giants lost 8-6. They're 2 games under 500. Like we said, no excuses. Better win the next 2. The Angels are the Angels.
It's like our good friend Larry says, as long as they had fun and they're still good friends, it's all that matters.
It's all that's important.
Exactly. It's called positivity.
All right, I'm not seeing any takers for our offer there in the chat. So
now here's hoping that we can pull off a series win, because if you lose a series or get swept at home to the Angels, you need to look yourself in the mirror and you need to pull out that old Gordon Ramsay meme where it's like, what are you? I'm an idiot sandwich. And you gotta exactly. You gotta look at yourself like that, because it's just inexcusable if you don't win this.
Hey, we've got 3 aces coming back. We should be grateful. This team is gonna turn it around.
Well, dude, Giants media said pregame, postgame show, Shayna Rubin, Susan Sluss, they all said, hey, we got reinforcements coming. Slater's healthy, Ahmed's healthy, Conforto's healthy. The offense is going to turn things around. Womp womp. Look what we got. So
they scored 6 runs, and the real Spencer Howard did stand up.
He scored 6 runs, and it's not like Elliot Ramos had anything to do with that. It was all Slater and Ahmed.
Yeah, I mean, it's just tough, man. Like it's.
Cody sound like a KBR guy.
Yes. Hey, if they want to bring me on, I'll tell how it is. Hey, you know what? Hey, Copeland. No, actually, don't rope me in with those boys. Copeland today is the one that set me off, because Copeland was out there going, they're in the 3rd wild card spot, everybody. Bro, they're under 500. Like, can we stop? like that's like a Seahawks fan pumping their chest about going 7-9 and winning the division in 2010.
Yeah.
And then being like, we won a playoff game. Well, yeah, you play in freaking Seattle against a dome team. Congratulations. Here's a cookie. Like no one's happy that you guys went 7-9. No one takes you seriously for winning the playoffs. If we make the playoffs, Like the day a team with an under 500 or a 500 record makes the playoffs in Major League Baseball, they need to just end the freaking league right then. Like that is not okay, everyone.
Yeah, I mean, they made it a lot easier to make playoffs, and we're still struggling.
Yeah.
But as long as we get a wild card spot, it's a successful season.
God,
I can't.
I hate that mentality, man. I hate it. I'm sorry if it offends anyone, but to me, it's a loser mentality. I hate it.
Look, guys, we're trying to be as positive as possible. We just watched us lose to the Angels, and we're seeing all over Giants Twitter and social media and Giants experts saying that we should be happy that we're trending 79 wins and a potential third wild card spot. It's hard to be positive at words like that. All right, well, we're trying our best here.
Yeah, I thought we brought the fun to this.
Oh, so, for sure,
it's all good.
Yeah,
but yeah, I just hopefully we can get hopefully we have some good come in. Well, we won't drag this too much longer, but we'll hopefully we'll have some good come in, and
who knows, by Thursday next episode maybe we win 5 in a row, and Soler hits 7 bombs, and we have
I love nothing more.
About. Yeah, I would love that. I'd be so hyped to come on. Maybe Austin Slater goes 20 for 20 over the next 5 games, and
with 20 singles.
With okay. All right, we need to end this.
He's gonna get one that he would have totally beat out. He's gonna hit one into right center field, and he's gonna totally he would have easily legged it out into a double. And the right fielder is gonna bobble it slightly, and then the scorekeeper is just gonna have the best sense of humor and put single E9, and you're gonna see Slater get the second and be like, "Oh, come on!"
Here's a serious question: when do you think he gets his first extra base hit? Is it before the All-Star break or after the All-Star break? There should be a bet on this. You should be able to have a money line.
All right, everybody, put in the comments before or after the All-Star break that Austin Slater gets his first extra base hit. If it was earlier in the show, we would have dropped a poll on this, but
yeah, it's a genuine question, man. We're going on almost 3 months, and I mean, yeah, he was on the IL for 2 weeks, but come on, chop. Let's go.
Yeah. Oh man. All right. Well, for those of you that actually stuck around with us,
shout out to you for dealing with us.
Yes, the 55 or so people that are still here. Those are the real ones. I appreciate everyone here, all the support. If you don't already subscribe, and you can do that, make it happen. Appreciate you guys. We cleared 500. That was really the goal. I mean, the next goal is going to be to try and get to 1,000. We're a ways away from that, but
yes,
we enjoy doing this. I enjoy having Dan on here. Go check out the NorCal boys are probably going to start their live show here in a couple minutes. So go check those guys out. They're a good time. I'll probably be joining them next Wednesday, if I'm guessing. Is usually the thing there. Dan and I have been trying to do Thursdays. We did Friday this week. I mean, we at least try and make this happen every week. It might be a random different day.
Yeah, at least once a week. But now, last thing I wanted to say, just off topic from Giants baseball. Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there, all the grandpas out there. Happy Father's Day to you, Cody. You're a great dad, so I hope you enjoy your day Sunday. But just wanted to drop that. I'm not a dad. I'm a dog dad. That's about it. But I just wanted to say Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. You're appreciated.
Yeah, absolutely, and I appreciate it. And Happy Father's Day. I'll echo that. I think my dad's listening right now, so I love you, Dad. Happy Father's Day if you are listening, and to all you other dads out there. So it's we appreciate all you guys and all you do. So yeah, all right. I think that's a good way to end it. So catch you guys later. One of these days I'll build an outro. I'm not that. I'm a little tech savvy. I'm not that tech savvy, but
all good.
For now. Catch you guys later.